We're back!
Welcome.
S.A.D for another episode of the S.A.D Guys.
This is our first week 1 recap.
Yeah.
And then our week 2.
Fourth vlogcast.
This is our 4th vlogcast.
Cut you off.
So it's our first week 1 recap, week 2 pro cap.
Pro cap.
It's
We don't know what that means.
but we're pro capping.
You're going to figure it out.
Yes. So, should we jump right into business here?
Let's jump in. We got a packed show today, fellas and lady. Stefan. Let's do it. First, we're jumping it. Cheers. Let's cheers.
to our amazing glasses.
S.A.D Guys mugs.
Which will be made for the league champions every year with your extra $2. I know it's asking a lot, guys. $2 is a good chunk of change.
Stefan's on a teacher's salary, remember.
True. Stefan, I'll spot you $1.
That is true. Let's move right into the week 1 recap.
Okay.
The first game we have on the docket.
Sounds like a good game. First game.
It was a great game.
Sounds like it. Let's see.
Stefan versus Cameron.
Ooh.
Grudge match. I have the scores here, but let's just say Stefan kicked the shit out of you.
Yes, it was the opposite of last year because I beat Stefan the first game, but then promptly lost the next 14.
Yeah, he beat you by almost 50 points. 50. How did it feel? Are you recovering?
It felt like a 14 game straight of last year, so I'm kind of used to it. Stefan rolled up with Andrew Luck, 30.7 points, which was a good outing against the Broncos. And Megatron threw up 35.4, so
not
his
bad.
Sunday night, Monday night actually put him over the top because that was 60-something points.
Is that what did it?
Mm-hmm.
It was those two guys?
Yeah. If it wasn't for them two, you would have lost bad.
Yeah.
I also had a -2 from my Rams defense, which was a great play.
Helping you out.
And also my number 1 and number 2 pick, Charles and Martin, combined for 10 points. So that's how you lose games, everybody. Do not take my lead.
Needless to say, you had the least amount of points this week.
That is also true.
All right. The next game we had was Hunter versus Jacob. Hunter scored a whopping 152.6 points, and Jacob had a measly 138.9.
We all picked Jacob to win last week.
We
Me
did.
and Chris, which was a terrible foresight. Hunter, Matt Stafford, 34 points. DeMarco Murray, 21.3. Justin Foreskin. Vernon Davis, 24 points. And Hunter had everyone in double digits except for Michael Crabtree with 4.5 points, which is a great outing.
Double D's!
Mm-hmm. These digit scorings are really making a difference. No one tied this week. Jacob.
It's amazing.
Jacob had 25.6 from A.J. Green, 22.5 from Brandon Cooks, which was a nice surprise for a rookie wide receiver because they usually do terrible.
Guy?
Brandon Cooks what?
I never even heard of him.
What is Brandon Cook?
Did he go to college?
Mm-mm. And Rashad Jennings, 19.6. With Jacob, you only had 6.1 from Zach Stacy and only 9.5 from Des Bryant, which was your second round, third picks. So if they do better, you'll do better.
I think we're saying that Jacob's pretty terrible at fantasy football.
What has he done in the last 2 years besides score the most points in our league?
So Cameron and Jacob are terrible. Let's move on. Chris versus Drew.
Yes.
This, I think, was the closest game of the week. It was a 9-point difference. Chris took it with 145.3 points to Drew's 136.0.
That's right. Chris's wide receivers and tight ends, Brandon Marshall, 19.1. Cordaro Patterson, I don't know how to say his name yet, 21.8. Greg Olson, 22.3.
He's white.
CJ2K, we all thought he was dead. He put over 20 points this week.
He's got numbers in his name.
Which is impressive. Drew, they're pretty good.
Solid showing. I see without Alfred Morris, who had a 9.1. Everyone else did pretty solid. Everyone scored at least 15 points for you, except Alfred Morris. Yeah. But your kicker and your defense combined for 8 points, which
is better than, I don't know if you know, but my kicker and defense combined for a total of, let's see, Rams -2 and Dawson 4. No. Dawson 2.
Right.
That's a total of 1 point.
You broke even.
So I think I won that.
That's your break-even point.
No, I
take account.
I was in the positives.
All right. Let's move on to the next game. This was a battle of the sexes with Jason H. Wiener leading the charge against our returning champion, Lindsay Christine Michael Sloan.
We all picked Lindsay to win last week.
Did we?
Chris, yes.
I don't remember.
We all picked Lindsay to win, and What happens? Jason Harris comes out and puts up the third least amount of points all week and
still wins.
Exactly.
Yeah, in true Wiener fashion.
Yes, Wiener. You would have gone 2-7 versus the league. You would have only beat moi and Lindsay and lost to everyone else, yet you are 1-0. So, congrats. Jason had, most in part to Julius Thomas, who put up
35.4 points.
That is a ton. And Forte, who we all thought was just an old piece of shit, put up 24.9.
Well, I was going to do it.
And all three of us wide receivers combined for 16.7 points. So that's not that good. Hopefully he can bump that up a little.
That's pretty awful.
Lindsay, going in, her Thursday night was Marshawn Lynch, 25.4, Harvin at 17. I assumed she was going to win based on that. But the rest of her team, as we like to say, shit the bed.
That is true. Mm-hmm. Mike Wallace put up 19.1, which is good, but the rest of her bench was just awful.
Yeah, well, no, the thing is her bench scored almost as many points as her starters.
Oh, that's
just called bad team management.
Got it.
Yes. So,
I was confused.
Lindsay, do better next time, or you're going to be stroking the creepy man baby trophy of losing. We can put your name right here by mine and Jason's, so be prepared for that. Final game
He's cuddly.
of last week was my co-host Jordan, who decided to throw up 184.5 points, which was easily 30 points higher than the next closest high score.
Yeah, and just in my own defense, you guys need to catch up. I mean, I may have peaked a little too early and committed a cardinal sin, but if I can sustain this, you guys are fucked.
Jordan had Matt Ryan, 37.4. Le'Veon Bell, 31.7. Antonio Brown, 22.6, with a net kick to a punter, which is the greatest play of all time.
That should be at least 50 points.
And Jeremy Maclin, who had 0 points through 3 quarters, ended up with 19.7 off of one play.
I had a gut feeling.
But your kicker and defense combined did go for 5 points, so hopefully they'll pick it up next week. Jason Ard.
Didn't need him.
You had 133.2 points, which was
the Ard dog!
the fourth lowest scoring. You still would have beat Jason Harris, though.
True.
Too bad you weren't playing
Damn
him.
it.
Jason had Peyton Manning, which was obviously at least a 28.5, which is what you got. Dennis Pitta, 18.3, which is pretty good for the Ravens tight end.
Whatever team he plays
49ers D got you 18 points, which is a really good number for our league, because Ds really don't score that much. But you didn't have a chance winning that game.
Yeah, I kind of took it from the beginning, didn't I?
Yeah.
Never looked back.
No, you started out, I think at one point you were up like 97-2.
Sorry,
or
our
something.
dog.
So
Go get him next time, Tiger.
yeah, hopefully you play me soon so you can beat the shit out of me.
As always, next week. Speaking of next week, let's move into our Pro Cap. For those of you who don't know what a Pro Cap is, neither do we.
We do not either. It's supposed to mean a preview of next week, but it's a Pro Cap.
It came out Pro Cap, so that's what we're leaving it at. All right, the first Pro Cap we have, what do you know? It's me. I'm playing Jacob this week.
And you are favored by how many points?
I am favored by 18.4 points in standard ESPN scoring
We'll
leagues.
say this is also based on Tuesday night scoring. This is before any waiver wire pickups or just general roster moves. So things could have changed.
Managerial magic, as I like to say.
But I do this during work, and I really shouldn't, so I just got to do it on Tuesdays.
Tuesdays.
Also, drink some Real L Devil's Backbone. It's amazing. All right, so Jordan, over 18-point favorites. This is what I like to call the Battle of the Jordans, because we all know Jordan as Jordan. And then also, Drew's wife, Liz, believes that Jacob's name is Jordan. That's all she calls him by. So, it's essentially the Jordan versus the Jordan.
The Jordan
Liz,
Bowl.
Or as
the
Liz
Jordan
would say,
Derby.
As Liz would say, Jordan, 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 Jordan. And then Jacob would say, "That's not my name."
And trying to read the chicken scratch of notes that Cameron made for me.
This is what I do at work. This is what we're going off of.
I see that Matt Ryan, Matty Ice, is against a tough Cincinnati defense this week. I'm not worried.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't be.
I'm not worried.
But the thing is, you should be worried. Jacob has Nick Foles, who had a rough start, but then did really good at the end of the game, and he's going against a really soft Indy D that gave up a lot of points to Peyton. So
NDD.
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 All right, let's move on to the next matchup we have, which is Drew and Jason R-Dog. Drew is right now, as of, I guess, yesterday. Last night is favored by 19 whole points.
And Drew has Alfred Morris, who put up 91 yards, didn't score. He did pretty good, but he's going against a really bad Jacksonville rush D that didn't really do anything last week.
Are the Jaguars still in the league?
They
didn't get relegated?
I thought they got relegated to CFL.
I thought they were AFL.
And I thought the Grays came up to NFL, but didn't happen.
The Saskatchewan dick fag. So...
and then Jason has...
Peyton Manning. Mm-hmm. With who he took with his first pick in the draft, I believe, right before Larry Donald. He's against the worst passing defense. Oh, a worse passing defense than last week.
So yeah,
I think is what
Peyton did amazing last week, going against an even worse passing D this week.
Yeah.
So
let's stick to
tough
the
game
schedule here. All right, next game: Stefan versus Lindsay.
Battle of our two previous champions.
Okay, moving on. So Cameron versus Chris. Cameron is favored by 22.9 points in this Austinite battle of the bulges.
Yes,
Wieners.
not so much bulges, just workplace. We both work together. So I have Cutler going against a really hard 49ers D. Super hard.
D.
Really hard. Hard as a diamond.
Hard D.
Oh, it's making me so hard.
Double digit
And
Ds.
then I had Chris is relying on hurt running backs like Lacey and Ben Tate, but as we know now, Ben Tate has died for the next 2 to 4 weeks, so I'm hoping that has helped my chances some.
You can hope all you want, but I smell a 15-week losing streak coming your way. All right, so...
No, I've already had a 15-week losing streak.
16-week losing streak coming your way. Okay. So, moving on to the last matchup of the week is Jason H. Wiener versus Hunter for the Boring Bowl, as I like to call it.
Well, it's also the only game of the week that is the two unbeatens from...
oh, is it?
Yeah, so they're both 1-0. Jason
Not
Harris,
for long.
Jason Harris is a 23.6 point favorite, which Jason has... I mean, he can go with Aaron Rodgers versus a tough defense again.
Yep.
Or he can go with Russell Wilson versus a bad defense.
Here's my theory. Last week, he went with Aaron Rodgers against Seattle. Bold
terrible.
choice. Did awful. Russell Wilson against Green Bay had an amazing game. Sat him on the bench. Now he's going to get in his own head. He's going to tinker. He's going to crumble.
That's right. So I'm going to go with Hunter, who... My notes I have written, Ray Rice, ha, ha. I don't know
Ray
if you've
Rice
heard the
dating
news.
ha-ha Clinton Dix.
I don't know if you heard the news, but Ray Rice likes to beat the shit out of women, like we said during the draft recap. And guess what? I did see that Hunter dropped Ray Rice today, so... Now instead of a wife beater and a racist, you only have a racist on your team. So
that's half better.
That's good enough.
Sure.
Okay, so
that was a good first pro cap.
That was a good pro cap. I'm impressed.
Okay, moving on. Would you like to introduce this segment?
Yes, it is a new viewer email, which last week we had Hunter asking us how we were doing fantasy football in general. So this week, what do we have?
This is an email I received Monday night.
Okay.
Right after the Monday night games were over.
So after everything was over.
Dearest sad people.
That's us.
I get no respect.
Rodney Dangerfield.
I'm a visionary who drafts players a year or two too early.
Okay.
Because I know they'll eventually break out. Too bad we are not doing keepers. We were not doing keepers back then.
Yeah.
Everyone laughed when I drafted Larry Donald a little too early a few years ago. Just a little.
I remember.
And look at him now. 5th in tight ends this year. It's been a hell of a ride. Wish I had picked him up. I can now relate to the great Albert Einstein, who first discovered the wheel.
That's true.
Who disproved the world being flat.
That's right.
And who first walked on the moon.
Oh, Albert Einstein first went on the moon.
Visionary. How can I gain the respect of my peers and let them know about my eye for talent? Signed, Michael Argelo.
Michael Argelo.
Fantasy prodigy.
I believe he resides in San Antonio.
He does.
Argelo from San Antonio.
Angelo.
He don't live in San Angelo.
Oh.
Wow, that is tough because if it was a keeper and you kept him, he would be essentially like a 5th round pick this year because you drafted him in the 7th round 2 years ago.
Steal.
Hey, 5th ranked tight end. I feel like Larry O'Donnell is the equivalent of Michael Argelo in fantasy football because 2 years ago, Michael Argelo, Caterpillar. Larry O'Donnell, Caterpillar. And now, the next
2
year...
years later.
Next year, kind of good. Michael Argelo, playoffs.
Millipede.
This year,
Raven.
butterfly.
Oh. Butterfly.
So, Michael Argelo, you are a butterfly. Larry O'Donnell, you are a butterfly.
Spread your wings and fly, you mighty butterfly. That was some good advice.
Next.
From Michael Argelo. In San Angelo.
Next, we have special night. We have Drew's Trade Corner with our extra special guest from Dallas, Texas, Drew Ray. So, Drew Ray
champ.
He has a trade proposal for us. So,
I do.
What do you have for us tonight?
Well, I'm gonna tell you what, guys. Only 1 week's in the books, right? So you can't be going to trade with everybody, right?
That's
true.
It
Like a pack. It's like a pack of gazelles out there, right? All the big, strong ones want to know. They're not gonna want to trade.
Yeah.
Fucking set.
I don't want to trade anybody.
I'll trade anyone
You
from my team.
gotta go after the babies or the injured gazelles.
Bambies.
You know. So what I did, took a peek. I found an injured gazelle.
Okay.
Giselles.
The Truffle Shuffles.
Ooh, I believe that is Michael Argelo's team.
I forgot to bring the box of butterflies I was going to let go. So what I did is I targeted his team, that baby gazelle. And what I'm going to do...
Did you sink your teeth in real
You're
deep?
like a lion, huh?
Is I'm going to go ahead and do this, ladies and gentlemen.
Do you know who that is?
I don't know if you can see that.
That is Drew live waiver wiring on our vlogcast.
Larry O'Donnell. Added.
The old black Irish Larry O'Donnell, as Drew likes to call him.
So what I'm going to do is this.
So Drew has Larry O'Donnell now.
I got Larry O'Donnell.
Damn it!
Truffle Shuffle doesn't. Neither do any of you guys. Reggie Bush, courtesy of the R Dog, sucked week 1. So
Yeah,
I'm buying
he's a
low.
bad
I'm
guy.
buying low,
Yeah,
and
he didn't do
he's
much.
selling low because I'm selling the number 5 tight end.
That
Larry
sounds
O'Donnell.
like a pretty good
I'm
deal.
selling a giant monarch
That sounds like
butterfly.
a good O deal.
This is a giant O'Donnell black butterfly. And that's the reason. Let's make a deal.
Oh,
Drew just made that trade again.
wow.
Drew just made
think
that
it's
trade.
Made that trade.
Can you go ahead and approve that?
Well, I'll just put them on your other teams right now. We don't even need to trade.
Perfect. All right.
I can do that as a commish.
See you guys later.
So,
Amazing.
Fist
Amazing.
bump, fist bump.
Amazing
Fist bump
job. Amazing job.
wow, Drew just made a trade after live picking up Larry O'Donnell.
That was a treat for
That
all
was
of you
impressive.
sadettes.
Oh man,
That was a treat.
that was very impressive.
Well, it looks like we've come to the end of our vlog.
And as you know, as I say this every time, we have an outro song for somebody in our league. This outro song is actually from me, the commish, dedicated to
Vane.
everyone else into the league. Because, I don't know if you know this, I don't do this for fame. I don't do this for money. Because my team sucks balls every year. So, nothing's going for me. So, all I want y'all to know is that I do all of this, do it all for love. I do it all for love. So, I would like to say good luck to everyone except Chris and
Razzmatazz.